If you're looking to get 6 wins in the Brawl, then this video is for you. I'll be going over the best decks to get those 6 wins, both with new cards and without any new cards. So even if you haven't opened any packs from the new expansion, you can still easily hit 6 wins. Now let's get started with the first deck we got here. You can already see it's the Quest Warrior, though this one looks quite a bit different from Standard. Now this deck is running a few new cards, but they're all common. So if you've opened a couple of packs, you probably have most of them. We've got the Unleash the Crocodile, we got the Precursory Strike, we got the For Glory, all of them common, so pretty easy to get after a few packs. And the rest, yeah, it's just Control Warrior Shell, right? Just lots of removal and draw, that's really it. And it's really good against Quest Warlock as well, because in the Brawl, unlike Standard, they do actually run out of cards, right? They don't have mass production, they don't have Corpsicle to do infinite damage and have infinite cards. No, they actually do run out of cards, so that is really good for this deck. Such as surviving wins a lot of games, and then you have the quest at the end to actually win the game if you get to that late game. The second deck we have is one you're probably pretty familiar with. It is the Quest Warlock. I mean, it's dominating Standard, and it's been kind of dominating the Brawl as well. Definitely the most popular deck. Now, if you look at this list, it looks a bit different than the usual list. And this actually had really good stats, this one, so that's why I want to showcase this one here, though. You can just play the standard list, right, with a very low curve. That's perfectly fine as well, but I wanted to show this one because it's a bit interesting, right? You're playing the Possessed Animancer that can summon in the Asphyxiodon Ultra Gigasaur. That also allows us to play the Elise. We got the Umbra to get back some tokens on the board, maybe some 2-drops that you're gonna throw away again into the quest, of course. That's what it's all about. It's still a quest deck. The late game is a bit of extra, but it's still all about the quest. But unlike the other quest decks, right, this has that late game a little bit. And yeah, if you get a threat like Ultra Gigas on the board, most decks can't really deal with that. It's pretty amazing. Like in the mirror, right, you get the Animancer into Ultra Gigasaur. Yeah, you're probably winning that mirror. So that's why I got this build. It just makes Solarium a bit worse, but that's about it. So yeah, if you want to try Quest Warlock, any build is good, but maybe you want to try this one out to play actually Ultra Gigasaur. The one time you can actually play that card. Then the next deck we have is a Blood Death Knight, and it's running a bunch of new cards. As you can see, I don't have all of them either. Here with the Husk, I kind of wish I had it, but I'll probably be trying this later on my stream. I've already gotten the multiple 6-win runs. Then it's running the new card Talanji with the Memorial Manifest, of course, to resummon that Bonsamdi and get that multiple times. We got here Umbra to resummon it again. It's a lot about resummoning it. Also, you kind of need a 7-drop for Elise. You'll see that a lot. There's like some weird 7, 8, 9 drops in a lot of decks just because you want to enable Elise. That's how good Elise is. And yeah, Avatar. There are just so few good 9 drops. So yeah, generally, you just want to play Avatar if you want to play a 9 drop. That's the same reason right there as a Wisp in a bunch of decks just for that. And other than that, yeah, just a lot of control tools, right? It's a Blood Death Knight, so you got the Pyromancer plus Poison Breath. I mean, you got Healing, Vampiric. Even have the Staff of the Endbringer to clear some boards. Just a lot of survival to go with the deck, as you're probably used to with the Blood Death Knight, and then Talanji as the win con, because spamming a bunch of these Bonsamis can be pretty good. A lot of 8-drops, right? And most decks just can't deal with that. And then we have another Death Knight deck, and yeah, this one is a little bit different. It's not very controlling, it's very aggressive. It's the Frost Death Knight. And yeah, it's just running a lot of the strong Frost cards, right? I mean, stuff like Frostrim's Fury is pretty amazing. Just a lot of ways to deal a ton of damage. Of course, we're running the Elise again, like a lot of decks. So we got Avatar, Clocksworth to make up those last 2 slots. Nice thing, though, is you don't have to run Wisp in this deck, because you can just run Horde of Winter, which is also pretty amazing with the Death Chiller. You can just clear the board and push a lot of damage with it. And outside of that, just a lot of ways to right, get a sticky board to push that board damage, because there isn't quite as much damage from hand in Brawl as there is in Standard, though you still have a bunch from hand, right, with the Marrow Manipulator dealing potentially 10. This one dealing another 5 freezing board, and this one having a good chance to be 6 damage, because I think it's like 4 Death Rattles you can get with it, so it's very likely you get the Stegodon, which can push a ton of damage if you get it off that. So yeah, really fast deck if you want to get those 6 wins. And next deck we have is the Quest Demon Hunter. It can be kind of fun in these brawls to see, right, these decks that just don't see play in Standard suddenly. They're kind of viable in the Brawl, and one of those is this Quest Demon Hunter. And yeah, it's Quest Demon Hunter. So all the cards you have kind of want to deal 2 damage in one way or another. We're running like Horn of Feasting, right? Just 2 damage 3 times, or 4 after the quest. Even running Primordial Drake, because it turns out it's actually pretty good board clear after the quest, right? It's just 4 AoE damage. so you can stay alive, and then yeah, all the other cards just deal a ton of damage, right? I mean, this is basically 4 mana, deal 8 damage, and it just adds up pretty fast with all the cards you have. So another deck that's pretty good to get 6 wins with, and it's basically not running any new cards. I think it's just this one, the Time Lost Glaive, but it's common, so it shouldn't be too hard to obtain. And then we have another deck that's really good and doesn't use any of the new cards. It's the Elemental Shaman, again, an archetype that doesn't really see play, but it does see play in the Brawl. And it's just a good aggro deck, right? Like the elemental decks, we know what it does is just get on board, right, with the 1-drops. I mean, you got the Wailing Vapor. It can be pretty scary if you play a bunch of them and it doesn't get cleared. And yeah, the thing is, in this Brawl, right, there's not that much great removal, so a lot of the minions are gonna stick around. Also, we got some fire synergy with the Volcanic Thresher, so if you get the Kindred with an elemental, which is pretty likely considering it's an elemental deck, you'll be drawing one of the 3 fire spells, and especially like a card like Sizzling Swarm, right? It's pretty amazing. Getting extra damage, getting those extra cinders, dealing extra damage with those cinders, and potentially proccing them with this slack. It can be a lot of damage. And we're running the City Chief Ashio as the only non-elemental, just to buff all those elementals, because yeah, it's pretty good to get those extra stats. Again, removal isn't that great, so all those stats that you get extra, they really do matter. Then we have another Warlock deck, but this is actually a new deck, right? It's running all the Shred of Time cards, like the Entropic Continuity to buff all these 1-drops you got, and tokens of this, the Tachyon Barrage, which is pretty incredible if you get to play this very early with the Devious Coyote. So you get this down for 0 mana early, that's pretty strong. And then you have all these overstated cards, right? Like the Twilight Time Hopper, 2 mana 4/4, I mean Mukla, the 4 mana 7/7 Fate Breaker, and then the 5 mana 10/10 Ruinous Velocidrake. Those are a lot of stats. Again, removal isn't the greatest in the brawls, so those stats are pretty strong. And then we also have the Razadir just to remove opponents' Rafaam cards from the hand when they're about to win. And we're running Chronogore to yeah, basically deal 6 damage to the opponent and keep drawing a little bit in the late game. But I don't think this card is necessary if you don't have it. And it's the only new legendary, so I think you can do fine without it. Now, the biggest card from the expansion is, of course, Time Thief Rafaam, so I had to include a deck with it in this video. Now, it's not the most amazing deck, but it can definitely get you to those 6 wins. I mean, even Zeddy got 6 wins, so pretty much anybody can get 6 wins for this. I actually haven't yet. But yeah, so the deck, yeah, it's kind of struggling, though, to get to 30 other cards besides Rafaam. There's some weak cards in here. I mean, we even got red, and if you watched my stream, you know how I don't like red, but honestly, in the brawl, there's not too many low rolls you can hit with the red, and it might just win like a Rafaam mirror, but yeah, you can be flexible with cards, or really with any deck in this video. You know, just try out cards. There's no really set meta or meta decks that you have to play. And the rest of the deck is just there to support the Rafaam stuff. We also have the Possessed Animants here again with some Asphyxiodons to yeah, try and stay alive. And then if you've survived all the aggressive decks in the brawl, you should be able to win with the Rafaam. Then we get to a Priest deck, Control Priest deck that I wish I had the cards for, but yeah, sadly, no Bediv. I mean, I don't care too much about this one, but no Bediv, yeah, it kind of sucks. I really wanna play that card, and it's also pretty important for the Lees. And yeah, it's running a lot of the new hand buff cards, right? The Disciple of the Dove, the Ember Priestess, and the Cleansing Light Spawn, though not the other hand buff card, right? The Divine Shield. This is one of the cards that also just good enough stand alone. It's even running the Aeon Wizard. I'm not sure how good this one is, but it's a new card. Gets you some priest spells, and they might be okay, though they are priest cards. But yeah, just seems like a solid deck if you want to play some control priest and you manage to get the Medivh. Because unfortunately, yeah, you can't craft these cards in the brawl. You have to wait for the expansion if you want to do that. And if you manage to pack Galbin of Tomorrow, maybe this is a deck for you. We got, of course, Galbin, so we play all the auras in this deck, right? We got the Crusader aura as well, the Resistance aura, just the good stuff, right? Because that's really important, is that that Galbin, right, that really wins the game. Also the Chronological aura, the new card. So yeah, what you want to do, right, is get to that turn 8 and then play this Galbin, and you get like 3 pretty insane turns, especially for the brawl. So that usually wins. You just have to survive through the early game. But we got some aggressive cards, and of course the Manifested Timeways looks like a pretty amazing card. You just just need an aura first, but it's pretty amazing if you get that. And then we also have the Fins of Beyond Time here, but also I don't think this is quite necessary because you don't have that low of a curve, so you're probably fine not having this card, like I don't have it here. Then if you manage to pack Broxigar, then this might be a deck you want to be running, and as you can see, I sadly did not get him, but yeah, this is a ODK deck, so it's running the Solitude card, even though there's a lot of minions, so what you want to try and do, right, is draw all your minions. That's why we got cards like Prize Vendor here to get to that point. And then what you want to be doing, right, is get that Broxigar out by killing all the portals. And you have Broxigar plus multiple Brewmasters, and then you can keep bouncing it, and yeah, 2 bounces, right, is just 36 damage. And you can add a bit more on top of it with the discounts. Like if you discount them, right, you can also get a Cane in there with 3 mana, so no taunt will stop you. And yeah, with the limited armor gain in this format, right, no Ancient of Yore, no Starship, that 36 damage should usually win the game. And then the final deck I have here is the Muradin Shaman. This is the deck I played first, and I got 6-0 with it, so it can work. One mistake I made though, you don't see it here, but I had a Curator instead of Marshpawn now. But again, you're gonna swap out cards, so don't be afraid to try and experiment a little bit yourself here. But this is gonna be a nice starting point. Maybe get like second Stormrook. I just had one, so there's only one, but it actually did pretty well, the Stormrook. Won a few games, getting a turn 5, turn 6 Stormrook with like Static Shocks, right? That can be really strong. It's a big board, and again, removal is limited, so most decks just can't clear those boards. And then you can of course finish the opponent with the Muradin into the Hammer, and yeah, this does deal a lot of damage. It really does. And decks just aren't really able to handle the amount of damage this can push. Now, if you want to change one thing though, is maybe add some early game somewhere, because I did feel like too often I was skipping the first few turns. But hey, I went 6-0, so actually this deck is perfect, right? I never lost a game with it. And those are all the decks I got for you today. Let me know in the comments what deck do you plan on playing, and let me know if you hit 6 wins with them. Now, if the video is helpful, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and until next time.